You see, something's going to happen.
What? What's going to happen?
Something wonderful.
What?
I understand how you feel. You see, it's all very clear to me now.
Smearman, Natalie Smearman. Yeah. Yeah. So let me ask a question. Can everybody hear me okay? Then I don't need a mic, because I have a loud voice. Yeah, I got a loud voice. Yeah. Hey everyone, my name is Natalie Smearman. I am a paranormal investigator. I also investigate cryptids and all things that are strange and unusual and scare the crap out of people, and I don't really mean your mother-in-law. So all the things in the woods and in abandoned asylums and all the things that really creep people out, that's where I come in. So I love that stuff. I am very sensitive to spirits, and I know I felt some things here this morning which were really amazing. When I normally feel a spirit, I get very heavy. I start to be able to have difficulty breathing, and then my stomach goes into knots. So that happened as soon as I walked in this room. So I just want to thank the spirits here for allowing me to be here and have some time with y'all. So what I do is I'm boots on the ground. I do a lot of field research. My field research areas include here in Florida, Florida Everglades, the Ocala National Forest. I even go into the Smoky Mountains, Appalachia, which West Virginia, Tennessee, and North Carolina, as well as Missouri. Now, I'll go into, like I said, haunted museums, asylums, but I'll also go into some creepy areas in the woods. You know those areas that you go into and you're like, oh God, I got a creepy feeling? That's where I run into. And I say, that's where I want to be. Whatever experience happens, the better. The crazier, the better. So, but when I go in there, I have the mindset to go in with an open mind. I don't go in with, I'm going to go look for Bigfoot, or I'm going to go in and look for Dogman, or I'm going to go find the weird stuff of paranormal. No, I walk in going, whatever I find, I'm going to be open to. Because when you walk into a situation, or when you walk into the woods, or even an asylum, you're thinking, I'm gonna hear paranormal, or I'm gonna get grabbed, or I'm gonna get growled at. One thing you want to do is walk in going, whatever I experience, great, because then you're going to find all these strange things happen to you that you might have missed. So for instance, just because you think something is impossible, it doesn't mean it's improbable. What you think you might know about an area or a situation, don't take that, because you're going to walk into every situation going, what can happen? So what you might find is rather exciting, and that's what I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to talk about some experiences that I've had that were really, really strange, exciting, and Cheryl, right over here, witnessed quite a few of those because I was with her. Now, one thing that we went out and did was film what's called The Vanished. And we went in March into the Smoky Mountains. And so we walked into that area exactly that. What are we going to find? We're not really sure. We're actually investigating unsolved missing person cases and what happened to them, because they were very, very strange occurrences around these specific 2 missing person cases. These are 2 persons that have been in the woods their entire lives, and they just vanished. Why? So that is premiering in January of 2026. But what we came across opened my mind up far more than anything I have done, researched, read, heard speeches about, or even watched on TV. And it taught me to keep a very open mind when I'm looking at something and I'm studying something and experiencing it. The one thing that we found were orbs. Every single day, every single night that we went out into the forest, we were seeing orbs. And these orbs would just appear in front of us and then beside us. We would be on a trail and we would look ahead and there would be an orb in the middle of the trail. And then we would look behind us and another orb would appear, almost watching and observing what we were doing. These orbs that were on the trail were a reddish orange. And then in the forest in front of us were these little orbs. They were blue and green and almost like a whitish blue. And they were looking at us and observing us. And we were trying to film it and we were trying to be so quiet. Then they started to disappear. Well, once we started talking again and we would laugh or crack a joke or say something, they would appear and come closer. So we were doing these experiments in the woods of what was it? Well, then poses the question, what are orbs? Then you hear questions of, well, are they just dust particles? Are they, pieces of lint? Or is it a bug? Well, I can assure you the day that we were in the woods, it was 40 degrees. There are no bugs flying around 40 degrees. We were bundled up. It was cold as all get out. And so we were out there going, okay, they're not bugs. I don't see anything flying around. There's absolutely no wind. So we have to take into consideration what else is it. So as we're observing them and trying to interact, we realize they are responding to our emotion. They are responding to our movements. And so that tells me that there is an intelligent being either behind it or that orb is an intelligent being looking at us and observing us. There are lots of folks in the industry that say that orbs could be spirits. They could be a cryptid that is moving through energy that's wanting not to be detected. It could be an alien. It could just be something unexplained. We have had witnesses tell us that they have seen orbs that manifested into a Bigfoot and then disappear. We have had, again, witnesses saying they've seen a Bigfoot transform into an orb and disappear. And so we've also heard about Bigfoot cloaking. So we are not sure what these cryptids have the ability to do because we don't know. None of us are experts. I can just tell you what my experiences are, the folks that I have interviewed, and what we have come across in our investigations. Every single night that we were observing these orbs was a totally different area. So we started to interview the locals, like what is happening in this area that are causing these orbs to appear? And it wasn't just us seeing them. There was a whole group of us, as well as the locals, that were saying, yes, we see these orbs on a regular basis. I interviewed a lady who has lived in the Smoky Mountains her whole life, third generation of her family that has lived there. She said that her grandfather came to the Smoky Mountains on the project to help build the Smoky Mountains and the parks. And his job and his crew was to build a road. So he would have to unearth the ground, create the paths, and what they came across were unmarked graves, a lot of unmarked graves. And some of these graves, they unearthed, and there were bodies in makeshift boxes, and they opened the boxes, they weren't sure what it was, and there were scratch marks inside of the box. These people were buried alive or murdered. There was a lot of negative energy that they were unearthing, a lot of unsettled spirits in the area. I believe a lot of those orbs are those unsettled spirits coming and looking and observing. We were also in an area where there is known to be Bigfoot encrypted activity. Could they be Bigfoot? Could they be watching us, observing us? What are you going to do? Then we had an experience with an orb on another path during the day. And we did not see this orb with our naked eye. I had my thermal camera up. It was on the path. I wasn't exactly sure what it was, and I kept observing, and it would just like dance around this leaf. And I'm like, okay, what's going on? And then it danced off into the air and came right down about 4 feet in front of me and kept peeking in and out of the brush that was right in front of me, observing, observing me. So again, this is an intelligent thing or something intelligent that is creating this and maneuvering this. So what we did on our last night is we had fun. And we were like, okay, now what? Let's entertain them. Who's going to go out and say, let's go entertain the orbs? And that's exactly what we did, right, Lynn? So that's what we did. We went out and we said, let's give them a show. So we sang, we danced, we twerked, we rapped, we were telling jokes, doing a stand-up comedy, and they were loving every minute of it. They were bright as can be, completely up the side of the hill. They were all around us. And then we decided just, okay, let's die down a little bit, and then they just disappeared. As soon as we got quiet, they disappeared. But that tells you something. They're wanting that interaction. And the one thing that I have been told many times, and I have not experienced this myself, that if you see an orb on your path that's dancing around that looks kind of curious, do not follow it. It could be a trap. Just stay where you're at and observe. Don't try to catch anything because you're going to fall into the woods. So don't do that. So again, when you approach this or see something like an orb, just observe. Get out your camera, record the temperature, record your surroundings, and make sure you get it on video. So another thing that we observed in the woods, and I know a lot of people around the country, I have heard this, is you're in the middle of the forest, miles in, and you hear a metal door slam. You hear metal on metal tapping, knocking. You hear metal hitting the ground, and there's nothing there. We were in the forest, and it was getting dark, and we were in an area, we had no flashlights on, we had no fire going, we were just sitting there and observing. And in the distance, we heard 3 metal, bam, bam, bam. And we're like, okay, we're just gonna sit and observe. Then, a few minutes later, 2 more of those knocks, metal on metal, came closer. Then a few minutes later, it was at the tree line, knocking. We stood there was nothing on the therm, we couldn't see anything through the night vision, and then all of a sudden, as if a flash, a massive flash hit the forest, went and like it blinded us. And we're like, what was that? And we didn't see anything, and then all of a sudden, we were surrounded by orbs everywhere, all around us, all different colors, and they were just watching us. And we were trying to see if we could see any crawlers, any cryptids, anything like that. Nothing was found. And then about 15 minutes later, the orbs disappeared. And then as we started to walk down the path back to where we came, because it was a few miles, something was following us, paralleling us in the forest. And when we would stop, it would stop. And we got to an area where we did stop, and we just stood there and observed, and then we started getting growled at. And then we had to leave because a massive storm blew in. But the metal sounds, I started to really do a little bit more investigating, studying, asking folks, have you ever heard of a metal sound in the woods? And we're finding there's a lot of witnesses out there about these metal sounds, these metal knocks, these doors slamming. And what is it? there's all these theories of, well, it could be an echo, but people believe that it could be a portal opening up. The more I dove down the rabbit hole about these metal sounds and how they're linked to portals and the orbs, it's all started to make sense. A lot of folks who have witnessed cryptids, aliens, or even the paranormal spirits moving in and out, the orbs can just disappear. How many reports have you heard about Bigfoot, somebody seeing footprints in the snow or in the mud, and then all of a sudden they just stop, they're dead, stop, and they go nowhere? Can they transform into energy, into these orbs, and go into a portal? Is that how they navigate so they're not seen, so they're not heard, so they can safely live in amongst us and not ever be seen? Do they go into a different dimension, or do they go into a whole different realm? So now we're talking about portals. And so I've asked so many people who have seen portals, tell me what your experience is. Everybody has said the exact same thing. They're in the forest looking for paranormal, cryptids, and then all of a sudden they come across this rectangular shaped window-like thing in the middle of the forest, and through this window type thing, they see a whole different area. They see different foliage. If you're standing in the nighttime, it's daylight there. I've talked to 2 people who have witnessed aliens coming through there. These objects came through and they were completely black and they were just gnarled. There's other witnesses who have said that they have seen portals and actually have gone in them and stepped back out. Those 2 gentlemen, within 1 year, died of extreme cancer, immediate stage 4 cancers, and they died. So what I'd like to do as my next experiment in life in about a year or 2 is go into these forests where these portals have been seen, get a drone, and take a drone into these portals to see what they're about. What's on the other side? Is it on our planet? Is it in our dimension? Is it someplace else that things are there and we don't know what they are? Is it going to get shot down? Is it going to get destroyed? Is it going to come back? How is it going to read? Now, the government and scientists say that we can't create portals here on Earth. And in my opinion, I think that's incorrect. You know, Einstein came up with a theory of general relativity. He talked about wormholes. He talked about how there's an ability of a wormhole opening up here and ending up in another universe or in another area of the world. We have heard of people talk about portals and here on Earth that they have seen windows into another dimension. We have seen certain things of in ancient times, these doorways, these old doorways that would take you, and there was ancient scripts that said that they would take them into a totally different dimension, a more spiritual dimension. Now we know, even though there are the scientists and all of the government saying that's not possible, but we have already known people to come forward and saying, yes, it is possible. In Switzerland, the CERN superglider is a massive, massive 27-kilometer tube filled with these super magnets that create these particles going at light speed, clashing into each other. That type of energy, that type of power can absolutely create something or destroy something. There is a scientist who came forward and saying yes, and he was from Europe, saying yes, absolutely, they have already done it. They have already opened up portals from the CERN glider. So that tells me a lot. That tells me that our governments are really working together to understand this a little bit better. That tells me that there are portals in this world that can be opened up from another dimension, from another time, from another area of our world. And so do these cryptids and aliens or whatever is out there, do they use these portals to move safely from one spot to another? I don't know. That's something we are going to be really diving in and studying over the next several months and years with Relic Films. We're going to be diving in and trying to capture all of this on film. We're going to dive in and bring that over to you and in these films. So our goal is to share our knowledge, to share what we have experienced, what we believe is on this earth, and what we believe is going to create some sort of information highway so we can all be linked. Because what I experience in the forest may be different than what you experience, or you may feel like I'm going to experience, I have experienced this, and somebody in New York said, you know, I experienced the same thing. Now you're creating a bond. You're creating this theory. Where else is this? So when I heard these metal noises in the forest of the Smoky Mountains, I thought I was alone. Like, what is this? I'm finding out there's metal sounds all throughout the United States. All over, people have heard this. So I want to open it up just for a second. Has anybody seen orbs? That is fantastic. Has anybody heard the metal noises in the forest? That's awesome. So we're all in different areas of the United States. We're all in different parts of the country, and we're all experiencing the same thing. So the goal is, let's find out what this is. I'm working with a lot of different organizations right now to bring all of this to the public, because a lot of people think that they're alone in experiencing this, and they're not. If you have a story, bring it to us. So I'm working with Relic Films. I'm working with Relic Films on a brand new talk show called Beyond the Ordinary. We're going to be talking about this a lot more. I also work with Gather Up Events, where we bring a lot of these folks together and talk about Bigfoot, cryptids, paranormal. What's your story? And we're going to ask you, what's your story? Because we want to hear it. We want to make sure that everybody is heard. No matter how far-fetched you think it is, I promise you we've heard far, far worse. I'm also a part of the NCI team, the North Carolina Investigators. I'm on 2 podcasts. One is 4 Blondes, One Mystery at a Time, and Paranormal Among Us. And you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. If you don't feel comfortable coming forward face-to-face and saying, here's my story, what are your thoughts, you could definitely message me. And then also the films that we do are for information, for you to look at going, this is what's out there. And my ultimate goal is to promote getting out into nature more, going on that hike, getting out and experiencing your own experience out in nature, and to become better equipped and to put that phone down, to put the laptops down and get away from the TV and go experience what is already out there, because it is magnificent. I promise you, you won't be disappointed. So I'm going to open it up for questions right now. Are there any questions? Yes.
Could you describe what the word cryptid means?
Yes. Cryptid is any animal that people have witnessed that is not scientifically found. So there is no DNA, there is no recorded document in the biology book, so to speak. So it's not saying that they don't exist, it just means that they have not been found. There are still animals that we have not found. I'm going to give you a prime example. Adam Davis, who I film and work with, he was asked to go look at a quote unquote lake monster in Northern Europe. And he said, okay, that's great. I'm going to go find this. He went out and discovered a whole new species of fish. So what was once a cryptid is now an actual animal, a fish, that has been documented.
The Loch Ness Monster would be a cryptid?
Yes, that would be a cryptid. And even though, people have seen it, people have witnessed it, but nothing has been scientifically documented on it.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
Have you heard of or anyone report any of the orb or portal experiences in like a residential area or even a city setting?
I have not yet. Yet is the question, the answer. All of the portal experiences that I have heard of, that people have come to me about, have all happened in the forest. Yes?
I was just going to respond to that. I have done some, went on a tour, and we spent some time in an old graveyard right in the middle of Tampa, Florida. And I was caught on video, and unfortunately, I couldn't get a good copy of it. But one of the guys was showing, I was feeling pulled from one grave to another. And I was walking back and forth, and he got a video of me walking across. He didn't even realize that I was walking. But there were these orbs following me all through the graveyard. So yeah, they are in cities as well.
That's fantastic. And yes, ma'am.
I saw orbs in an old cemetery in Pennsylvania, and my daughter took pictures, and they came out in the pictures.
Yeah.
And strangely enough, one was hovering over a specific grave that they had talked about on the tour about the story of this woman, and they showed us her house and everything. And she had apparently had some kind of mental illness, or what was considered a mental illness back then.
Right.
And her family rejected her, and they moved to the house next door and left her alone in the house. And she was buried in that cemetery, and that was where one of the orbs was hovering.
These are great points. And also, not all the time, because of maybe city lights, maybe not everybody's able to see these orbs or portals. If you have a thermal camera, that will pick them up very clearly, very clearly. So that's a great point in Tampa and over graves. Just the other day, or a couple weeks ago, we were in Missouri, and we were seeing all these orbs on the hillside right over an old abandoned graveyard. It was overgrown, and there were a bunch of orbs there. So, maybe if you're not seeing, if you can, get a thermal camera if you want to go out and take a look, and that will pick up orbs when you can't see it.
An ordinary camera.
That too.
Before cell phones. So
Yeah.
regular camera.
So, and a lot of times you'll take pictures, and to your point, these pictures will come up, and so people say, oh, it could be dust, it could be water droplets, it could be this. And it's like, really, there was no dust, and that there was no water droplets, that there were no bugs. It's those photographs filled with orbs.
And I assume any time of day and night, you see this?
If you take a photograph, you can take a photograph day or night and also capture orbs. Yes, sir.
Yeah, a quick question. With the thermal camera, do they usually show up warmer or colder?
They actually show up warmer. Yeah, they do. It's that energy, that little ball of energy, and they're showing up as a warm object. It's really interesting. Any other questions? Yes. Hi.
I live in Lehigh Acres, and I took a picture of it was a rainbow orb right in my backyard during the nighttime.
Oh, that's so cool.
My wife witnessed it with me, and we actually witnessed a lot of paranormal stuff together.
Wow.
But recently, actually, I heard too with the Bigfoot phenomenon, we're having I'm having all these paranormal
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm like so blown away, and I believe in gifts.
Uh-huh.
You know, it could be, you know, squirrels or whatever, but
Uh,
I don't feel like it. I feel like they're taking it. Like, and they
right.
don't take everything that I get. But anyway, I had a question. My first experience with the Bigfoot was after listening to a podcast. This woman was on there, and she was explaining her experience of she was in the woods, and all of a sudden she had this vibration.
Mm-hmm.
She was just getting a healing. And like this is like brand new, the whole Bigfoot thing. Um, so, and then the very next night, I received that same healing in the night. And I was just like, wow. And since then, it's just like so much phenomenon. And it was, and I realized like I'm awakening and remembering.
Mm-hmm.
Like I believe there's a Bigfoot family that's been with me since birth.
That's phenomenal. I mean, and you talk about the gifting. I don't think squirrels will repeatedly gift. You know, I do believe you do have a Bigfoot family there. And, you know, if they're gifting, that's a sign of appreciation because they respect you. And it's almost like, thank you for allowing us to be here. But I've also heard so many times that once you have a Bigfoot experience, that face-to-face, that interaction, you continue to have experiences because they're open, you're kind, and they feel comfortable. So that is an awesome story. Where do you live?
I live in Lehigh Acres. It's like one town over from.
Oh, wow. That's fantastic. And it's a heavily wooded area?
We have like it's like we do have woods next to my home, like okay, and we have like a half acre, but on the second lot, it's all trees.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, I mean, there's grass too, but
Yeah.
I have a spot where I hang out.
Okay.
The oak tree and all the other trees, and then there's like a forest right next to it. I'm like, I don't feel like they would sustain in that forest.
Mm-hmm.
It's so small,
Yeah.
but
That's
it's a lot, mostly residential, but it's kind of rural too. So
okay. They could be navigating through there. That's really, that's incredible.
what is that? I've heard this term. I was wondering if that term is called zap.
Yeah.
Is that what that was by experience? Or?
So when someone gets zapped, that is an energy that is, it will cause you to have an immediate migraine. And it's almost like a blinding migraine. And you can get physically ill as well. Now, a lot of times you'll hear about this vibration. That could be the infrasound that they give off. A lot of predators give off infrasound. It is a frequency that we don't hear, and it's almost a predatory vibration. Tigers will do that. You'll get like, if you're around a tiger and they start growling, you actually feel in your chest the vibration. That it could be that. Okay. Okay, well that's different. Okay. Well, that's pretty awesome. That's fantastic. That's truly fantastic.
I ask for help every night, not necessarily from Bigfoot, but just to help heal my body. And I never even knew that type of healing existed.
Yeah.
So
Wow. Well, good for you. You're very blessed. Yes, that's awesome. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Also, the Bigfoot expedition we just did a week ago with that photo we caught.
Oh my gosh. So we were out in the swamp. We were doing an investigation, and it was a night investigation. And we were just out and about. We had a lot of different activity, but Josh was like, okay, I'm gonna just take some photographs, and there was a gentleman in the swampy area with a flashlight. Well, he took a picture, and the flashlight, the guy was standing here, the flashlight was shining out this way, and right here was a giant face. Now, with the naked eye, you could not see that face. On the photograph, you saw that face as if it's standing there, and it was almost as if there was a Bigfoot face right there. It was profound.
When we were out that night on that hike, I heard a metal splash.
You did.
Dump truck, like that, when a dump truck does its dump and then it slams at the end.
That's so cool. I didn't hear that. But we did hear vocalizations in the distance. And then we saw 2 sets of possible prints. It looked like an adult and a juvenile going into the forest that we saw, that you pointed out. And so that was profound. And then we had a paranormal experience as well. Josh and I were walking down the path, and I thought I saw something, because it was dusk. And then Josh goes, did you just see that? And it was of a Native American in full headdress. It was like that. And it was like, and I'm like, I thought my eyes were playing tricks on me. And then when he saw it too, I was like, there's got to be something down there. So we walked down, and this is a heavily forested area. And as soon as we got to the area where that was, there were no trees. There was just brush, like tall grass. And I'm like, there's something here. And it was just a heavy, heavy feeling. And so I walked forward, and I'm just like, in my third eye, I'm trying to just look to see what's out there. And there was a Native American woman standing by the tree with a chief, and there were 3 or 4 warriors by her, and they were watching us. And I told them, I said, we come and very respectfully and mindfully, we are here to observe, not to harm anything or destroy anything. You know, we would like to have your permission. And they were very stoic. And then we had the kids there, and I asked the kids to say the same thing. And once the kids said it, this cold chill went through me, went through Josh, and went through Mike. Like boom, boom, boom. And it was almost like, we're good. You have our permission, please proceed forward. And we were very respectful, but that was an incredible experience out there. So just like, we went out looking for the skunk apes, and we had paranormal experiences, we're hearing things in the distance, heard the metal sounds, saw footsteps, or saw footprints. So when you go into a place, don't assume that it's just what you think you might want to see. Experience the whole thing that the forest has to offer. Whatever area that has to offer, experience it, because it's going to be such a cool thing. Anything else? All right, well, I want to thank you all. This was my very first conference where I spoke at, and I want to thank you all for being here and supporting me. I appreciate each and every one of you. And if you'd like to follow me, I'm on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. And I post things pretty much every day as to what podcast I'm going to be on, where things are happening, things to take a look at. It's just some really cool and fun things to have happen. So I want to thank you all so much. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you. Thank you.